Hey guys, Jason Timothy here with MusicSoftwareTraining.com, and in this mini course that I'm putting together here, we are going to use a tool called Splice, which is a website that allows you to share your music with anyone that you would like to, and it saves all the different versions of your songs, and it works with not only Ableton but several other programs, but we're going to be specifically working with Ableton. So because of the capability that Splice adds, I will be sharing this song template for you that you can download for free. It includes a couple of my songs, different instruments, and all that sort of thing. Okay, so in this course, what I'm going to teach you is some essentials that you can put to use right away to improve your mixes and your workflow. So let's go ahead and get started with the EQ. So I use EQ on pretty much every track that I create, and it's because EQ is such a good way of getting rid of unwanted frequencies. So my best suggestion to you for a clean mix is on any track that is not a kick drum or a bass, roll off the low frequencies below 120 and you're going to get a much cleaner sound. The great thing about this EQ is that you can actually see the waveforms as you're playing. So you could see where the mud might be. And right now we're just playing with the drums. So since there's a kick drum here, we don't want to have this up here because we're losing that low frequency. But on anything else, go ahead and pull that up, and it will really clean up your mix. Another tip is usually right in the ballpark between 250 and 550 hertz is usually where a lot of the mud in a sound sits. Another thing is it doesn't hurt to roll off some of the high frequencies, although that is not quite as important as rolling off the low frequencies. It'll make your hi-hats cleaner sounding without other frequencies kind of interfering with that. Next we'll come to reverb tips. Just some basic suggestions here on the reverb. One is when you're using reverb, make sure to cut the low frequency out on anything that you're putting in. You really don't need reverb muddying up your mix. The less low frequency that you've got filled up with reverb, the better. Second thing is look into your pre-delay, because this is the amount of time that you can have a clean signal before the reverb kicks in. And that can give much better transients to percussion sounds or whatever. Don't use one reverb setting for your whole song. Certain things you're going to want short reverbs, medium reverbs, and longer reverbs. And my recommendation to you is to put these on return tracks so you have a choice of those three options. And then you could simply, on any particular part, you could just turn them up on their send. And that way you could choose the level on each of your instruments for whatever type of effect that you want. So in changing settings, you probably want to work with the size of the reverb and the decay time mostly. Those are going to have the biggest effect. And then the rest you could kind of figure out as you go just by tweaking those knobs. Next we have the compressor, and I'm going to give you an example here. You can pretty much make anything sound good with a basic compressor. So let's get to it. I'm just going to solo one sound. Let's see. Let's play with the clap here. And I'm going to use extreme settings, so I'm going to turn the ratio way up. I'm going to turn the release up, and I'm going to put this kind of deep into the threshold. You can already hear a pretty massive difference. Now what we're going to do is we're going to affect the attack and try to listen for the snap. Let's back up the release a little bit. So this is like a longer attack, shorter, kind of thinner sound. So we kind of want a thinner sound here. Short release time. And then when we kind of have that snap sound, we can start backing things off to a more normal setting. And now we can compare before and after. Before, after. Much beefier sound. So my suggestion is start with the extreme settings, set your ratio really high, set your threshold down. Release time, maybe around 250-ish. And then start setting your attack and just listen for that snap. And once you get that snap, you can set the thickness of the sound that you want. And then you could slowly start backing the threshold and the ratio off, and you'll have a pretty dialed in compressed sound. So thanks for watching this one, and make sure to check out this Splice project, and there's loads of others as well. And in the next video we will get into just a couple simple arrangement and structuring techniques that can speed up your workflow.